All right.
この前のボヤのこと。
リハクのやつ、お手柄だったな。あいつが解決するとは意外だった。
それがどうも噂によると、刑事が
They gave credit to him. What is his position exactly? I forget. It's been some time since I've seen Apothecary. Oh, Lihaku is the... Okay, this is Lakan. Very gentle voice. Intelligent voice.
シャオマン、ちょっといいでしょうか。
ガオシュン様、どうしたのですか？
Now he's gonna pick an interest with...
見てもらいたいものがあるのですが。
10年前の消火でフグのナマスに当たって食中毒が起きたと。
今度その手の料理屋に連れて行きますから。
She'd rather have it poisonous.
事件について仕事で関わっていたことがありました。これとよく似た事件が最近起こったということで。
Oh, okay.
昏睡状態に陥っている。
Why would he do that?
昏睡状態。それは私が聞いてもよろしい話でしょうか？
問題ありません。
つまり喋るなと。
それに今さら毒の出てくるこの話を途中で切ってもいいのですか？
He really knows that so well by now.
お話の続きを。
湯引きしたものを使っていたそうです。それを食べて昏睡状態に陥ったと。
Not cleaned properly.
フグの実ですか？実に毒がある場合もあるかもしれない。別におかしな点はないのでは。
Oh, last episode we had that scene right at the end.
今回の事件
Just remembered.
料理人はフグを調理に使っていないと言い張っているのですよ。厨房のゴミから内臓や皮が全て発見されたことから肝は食べていないと判断されました。別の魚を使ったと無罪を主張しました。
A lot of coincidences.
証人となる人間がいなかった。
10 years apart.
役人は料理を全て食べ終えた30分後、中毒症状を起こして倒れ、痙攣していたところを発見されました。
Kind of funny seeing it. Sorry.
案外しっかり調べてるんだな。ガオシュン様、もう少し
Who wrote this
情報を
report?
集めてきてもらえますか？
わかりま
It's
した。
quite detailed.
調べておきます。
Like, is it Gaussian or Lakan?
ホコリカスが見つかっていて矛盾はない。
何の話をしてたんだ？
Oh my
さすがにその顔は俺も傷つく。話をやけに熱心に聞いていたよ。
Oh, my back.
面白い話なら人は耳を傾けるものですから。
シャオマン、昨日の話ですが、これは調理書です。
He's doing this without
主人に出す料理は
Jinshi's approval or...
ありがとうございます。ナマスの作り方に特におかしなところはないですね。
酢の配合は何種類か書かれていますが、
わかりませんね。
わからないのか？
話に加わりたいらし
I
い。
can see that.
何がわからない？
それが海藻を使ったと言っていまして。
海藻ですか？もしよろしければその家の厨房を見せてもらうことはできませんか？
It's interesting that it happened one day after the puffer fish was served, so as if to incriminate the carelessness of the cooks, that they might have mixed the ingredients and the poison is something else. That's what I'm going with.
ここに来るようにと言われたのですが。
バセンだ。話は聞いている。
マオマオです。
CGI horse.
向こうに行けば屋敷の下男が厨房を案内してくれる。
よくは思われてなさそうだが、まあいいか。
So this was a favor by Lakan, right?
こちらが厨房
To
です。
Gaoshan.
おい、
Whoa, 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 what the hell?
勝手に入るな。出て行け。何をしてる。こんな奴らを連れてきたのは重いか。
ちゃんと奥方に確認は取っています。
誰ですか？
旦那様の弟君です。旦那様が昏睡状態になって奥方様も疲労で寝込んでしまい、弟君が屋敷を取り仕切っていました。
Interesting.
そういうことですか。
Prime suspect.
らしい。
Personal kitchen quarters. Not.
他には
The scene from last episode was in a public place.
おられましたので毒はないと思いますが。
What is it?
嘘はついてなさそうだな。
だそうだ。終わったなら早く帰ってくれ。
Calm down.
そうですね。
Really?
なんで簡単に引き下がったの？
行き下がったとは思っていません。
持ってきたのか。
これ不思議なんです。この海藻が取れる時期にはまだ少し早い。だからといって塩漬けにしたところで今の時期まで持つものでもありません。
Oh.
わかると良いのですが。分かってくれたらしい。
I don't get it.
なら私も私のやるべきことをやろう。なぜ人士様もいるのだろう。
調べたと
He
ころ
wants some screen
やは
time.
り海藻は南方から持ち込まれたものでした。下男の証言では主人が冬場にその海藻を食べることはなかったとのことでした。
Why is
料
it
理
there?
人からも普段使っている海藻と同じ種類で毒のはずがないと。
同じ海藻なら毒がないというわけじゃないんです。人の好物だと知った交易商が金になると思ってわざわざ地元民に海藻の塩漬けを作らせたとしたら、この海藻の場合は石灰水につけることが必要だったはずです。そうでないものです。
何してる。
大丈夫です。多分。
多分ってなんだ。ガウス。はい。はけ
一夜漬けで無毒化できるかどうか食べて検証するつもりだったのに。
Don't use it on yourself.
気を取り直して。ここで
Just
問
like
題なのですが、食べる習慣のない地方から取り寄せれば危険性が高いのは当たり
They
前です。
wouldn't know how to make it not poisonous.
わかりました。
ここにいる者たちは賢い。これ以上言う必要はないだろう。
So we'll have to check who
とりあえ
imported
ず
it.
は一件落着かな。
Don't try to. I know.
自分が買ったと白状したそうです。
Yeah, it was too
動機
obvious.
は次男の自分がないがしろにされて
Way too obvious.
長男を邪魔に
Way
思
too
ったから
straightforward.
酒場で横に座った客から偶然教わったそうです。
偶然。
Just like the previous time where someone was just handed
それ
the
にしても
pipe.
何に使うの？
Accidents
虫から
happening.
見た虫から伸びた枯葉色のキノコ。
But the actual culprit is removed from the entire situation because they were not directly involved.
おかえりなさいませ。おかえりなさいませ。
Why is that reaction?
私のせいじゃない。
Why that reaction?
ってるんだが、どうにも馬が合わない相手がいて意見が違ってしまうのだ。のに40を過ぎて再退もせず、老い子を養子にとって家の管理を任せている有名な変人がのところ毎日質問する。
よし、忘れよう。思い出してもろくなことにならない。
Come on, give the confirmation. He's talking about the emperor,
し
right?
かし、まあ忘れたところでいつもの嫌な予感は当たるのだが。
案件はもう通ったはずですが、
冬に花見は難しい。
Talking about him.
こちらでと思いましてな。そういえば、六章館に昔馴染みがいましてね。
意外な話だ。色事など全く興味ないのかと思っていたが、どんな妓女ですか？つい聞いてしまった。
いい妓女でしたよ。碁と将棋が得意で、将棋では勝てるが、碁では負けて
Alright,
ば
go
か
and
り
show
だ。
it. He was talking about him.
変わり者の妓女でしてね。
しかしそんな話をして何が言いたいのか。
芸は売れど身は売らず、それどころか客を客とも思わない。客に茶を継ぐ時も下船のために施しを与えるような背筋にゾクゾクっとくる感覚がたまらないものでして、いつか押し倒してみたいと思っていたものですよ。
Okay.
結局その議場を諦めきれず、
Weird creep.
仕方なく少々汚い手を使いました。
というと、
高くて手が出せないなら安くなれば問題ないわけでして、希少価値を下げたんですよ。 というのがなかなか面白いようで、妙に謎解きが得意なようですな。私の知
What's
人
with
に
the
宮廷御用達の彫金細工師がいたんですよ。遺言が何かの手がかりだと思うんです。それが引っかかっていてね。
a lot of
何
information?
が言いたいのでしょうか。
Yeah, please.
いや、大したことではない。その秘伝の技術を知る術がないかと思ったまでです。例えば、頭の回るそちらの下女が調べてくれやしないものかと。
話だけでも聞かせて
Why
もらえないでしょ
go to this length to recruit her for such a tangential task?
よく降るな。
All right, this was a loaded episode. This show is way too smart for my own good. Sometimes I need to rewatch the entire episode like I did right now to understand the small details, and still I feel like a dumb fuck who doesn't get the whole picture and the visual imageries and reading between the lines and all that. It makes me feel like an idiot. Okay, so this is the second of two incidences where something happened, and at a glance, it was thought that okay, you know, an explosion happened in the warehouse, or someone died from eating puffer fish, you know. But then, upon a closer inspection by someone intelligent, we come to a different conclusion altogether, that it was either an accident or someone with nefarious reasons. But there's a third layer to this, which Mama or and no one else is privy of. That these things are being like there's this element of coincidence and happenstance, how which led to these circumstances, and someone is intentionally doing this. But whoever that someone is not doing it directly. They are taking the help of, well, they are kind of uh, using other people to do these deeds, right? With the warehouse thing, it was that smoke pipe which was too good of a quality to be used by a warehouse worker, yeah. And in this case, the brother-in-law just happened to hear about this very peculiar thing that he could make use of for his very specific circumstance. I mean, that is way too convenient, and Mama catches on to that, right? So both these circumstances, someone is pulling the strings from behind, and they're very smart to leave themselves out of the equation, so there can be no trace, right? And there's no personal vendetta in this, so far as I can see, because these two things were completely disconnected. I had reason to suspect Lakan, but he is involved in one of these at least, and he actually approached Gaushan to solve this. And the first one, he was trying to solve the case himself, so he's definitely not the one who's causing it, someone else. And you also have the new Pure concert, that is a major player. I don't know how she'll wrap into all this. And then there is that other what do you say, those assistant girls, right? uh, Secretaries, one of them who uh, knocked on Momo in the last episode, I think. Anyway, what really am finding intriguing with both these incidents is that even though someone, in particular about the pufferfish incident, I really like the small detail that the culprit thought of, that only when pufferfish was served, which is a poisonous fish, the next day they carry out their plan, so that dumb bureaucrats and officers who don't want to work too hard will just chalk it up to carelessness of the chef and just a bad tragedy. But that is not the case. This was a very specific poison that was, and the puffer fish was used to mask that whole incident. Similarly with the warehouse thing, right? Dry weather, smoke pipe, fire, ignite. But why would someone be even smoking at night inside the warehouse? So there are these small things that Mama would catch, but even she won't know how all of these are linked. So that is very interesting. Uh, and we'll talk about Lakan later on. Why, what his whole deal is, and that last scene was very ominous. What he was talking about, that particular courtesan, she looked like Mama. I don't know if it was Mama's mother because there's been no mention of that, but Mama has, I mean, is very familiar with the Verdigris, how she's even worked there or is well known there. So I don't know. Like I might be forgetting something. Um, whether the mother was actually working there, and that's who Mama reminds Lakan of, and that's what he's trying to allude, or maybe he just found Mama of interest, just like he found the courtesan. You know, I can't understand this character, but we'll talk about it later maybe. But yeah, the pufferfish incident. Once you kind of figure out what the whole deal was, it was very obvious to implicate the younger brother. So it's definitely not the younger brother's intelligence of thinking this, specific poison. It's definitely someone who carried out the agenda through the younger brother and left him hanging. But yeah, Mama does acknowledge Gaoshan's hard work and diligence in this whole exercise. That was nice to see. But yeah, this thing, that there were two similar incidents with very similar circumstances that happened 10 years apart. Now, I don't know what to do with that detail. Is it someone who is copying an actual incident or tragedy that happened and kind of framing it? But that would make someone like Mao Mao or Gaoshin, who are smart people, kind of clue in on that as a weird coincidence, as if the perpetrator is deliberately leaving clues there, which I don't know if they just want to have a game here of cat and mouse. I have no idea. Trying to lure as bait, but yeah, 10 years apart, whether it's the same person or whether it's someone copying the incident and using it as camouflage, I don't know. But this was very interesting. I really like this episode, and I'm as I said earlier, I'm really liking the second arc of this show. It's really shining in its intelligent writing, and the way it constructs all these plots and multi-episode plots, overarching narratives. It's very interesting. Like all these small details, right? Picking the right season so that someone like Mama would notice these details, like in winter, garbage would be sitting out so people can verify that yeah, pufferfish was not served on that day. It was or maybe the guts were removed, so that can always be there sitting as evidence, right? I really like all these details, and the fact that the perpetrator thought of all these details as well, kind of like he's one step ahead of whoever detective is going to solve this. And also we have our typical, in masked in all this, we have our typical poison of the week. Again, lack of knowledge, but this time maliciously executed. That if you have a favorite ingredient that is out of season and you source it from somewhere else, you have to do your due diligence. Otherwise, the people of that region would not know that you have to, just like a puffer fish, right? They would not know how to remove the poison, and that's what led to this whole thing. He was, I mean, what's the master? Yeah, the senior, uh, high-ranking official. He, this is a common favorite for, so no one would, what do you say, suspect that to be poisonous, but because it was sourced from a different place that had not removed the poison, and such knowledge is only that Mama can shine on. Stuff like this gets swept under the rug. But even then, someone knew that this case would be solved, and that person would, the younger brother would be absolved of his sins, would be caught for his crimes, and yet they won't know, and yet the actual perpetrator would get away with it. That's what's very interesting. But yeah, let's get to this scene with Lakan, who has it out for Jinshi. Jinshi, other than his, uh, his father, the emperor. So Mamo is finally on Lakan's radar. This guy is creeping me out. I cannot figure out what his intention is at all. He speaks in vague sentences, and no wonder Jinshi is frustrated. He seems to be doing nothing the entire day, and he's bored until he notices Mao, and something just, I don't know, clicks inside him. Here Jinshi made a mistake uh, of calling it out as it being one of the courtesans. He never said that. That was interesting. Jinshi is kind of nerves on the edge. The master strategist, a fitting antagonist to Mao maybe in the second arc, but a lot more scarier than anyone else so far. Yeah, he just likes rambling on and on. And he is definitely not a good person, the way he was talking about the courtesan. And then he brings up this completely unrelated story just to weave Mama into one of the cases, to maybe have a closer look at her, at how she operates. I have no idea what his actual endgame interest is with Mama, which is what is troubling Jinshi, right? Obviously, he cares for Mama. So let's see what this transpires into in the next episode. If he's just testing Mama with something, or he has a completely different agenda. A lot of players, a lot of unknown players in this arc, and even some players with names like Lakan, who we don't know their intentions. So yeah, this arc is building up to be pretty good. So that's it for this episode. See you guys next time. Bye.